When Tom and I started developing this movie, we wanted this next installment of Mission to have a sense of adventure. We wanted to make a bigger film, a more global film, a more romantic film. And nothing felt as romantic to me as a train. We wanted to build upon the previous films and apply all of that knowledge to something practical and real, and bring this train sequence to another level. There aren't a great many surplus working locomotives that someone's willing to let you throw off a 200-foot cliff. That meant if we wanted to wreck a train, we had to build the train. To shoot it practically, it was extremely challenging. Not just to execute, but also to design all the different train cars that could actually function on a working railroad track. No one else in the world is doing this level of practical filmmaking, and it may never be done again.
The train sequence takes us on an adventure. That's absolutely huge. Going 60 miles an hour through a real valley.
We were given permission to use this railway line in Norway.
We eventually found Rauma, which is this amazing valley.
This railway line just cuts right through the middle of it all.
It gave us a playground to operate in that was absolutely extraordinary.
Okay, guys, let's go through it. Here, boom, and he comes across. He's gonna now pull me off the train. And action!
I've done fight scenes, but to do them on a moving train, it was trial by fire. That's how Tom likes to do things.
To do this practically, you are at the mercy of all of these elements.
It's probably the most dangerous feeling work I've ever done. There's just nothing like it.
Your senses are just pulsating. I'm holding on for dear life because it feels like I'm going to fall.
The adrenaline is absolutely racing.
Way to go. Way to go. That was excellent.
When you're hanging off a train carriage, Tom's a great person to have beside you. Not only is he fearless, he's always looking to see how it's going to land for the audience.
Shooting on a moving train involved more logistics and more complications than we ever thought possible. It really just took on a life of its own. So we went old school. We took handheld cameras. We put 2 camera operators up on top of the train with the actors. This is actually a better angle. We had a pursuit vehicle trying to keep up with the train. There were trees and poles and all sorts of things next to the train that were in danger of constantly snaring the train. Then you had a helicopter. As a result, you'd be inside the train directing multiple camera operators at the same time.
That's nice. Do one more like that.
It's a constant dialogue between the actors and the camera of knowing which camera is picking up what.
Everything that you're seeing in that sequence is all being executed in an environment of slightly controlled chaos.
Should we stop?
One more like those.
One more from the top. You stop the train!
Okay. What? No, wait! How do I do that?
You'll figure it out!
To crash a train involved multiplying factors of difficulty. It's hard to conceive of the sheer size of what it was we were doing. You'd be chasing the train as it goes off. It's kind of terrifying knowing that there is no rehearsal. We were measuring and modeling where we thought the train would land. There was no way to predict whether or not the cameras on the train would survive. Every camera had exactly one shot at getting it right.
It's not just a matter of going off. Because if we do it all, we don't capture it right, what's the point?
3, 2, 1, action!
Amazingly, the cameras survived and the footage was there.
It seems to be in remarkably good shape.
We had the most incredible crew in the world. Everything you are seeing in this spectacular train sequence is done to invest the audience in these characters.
Hang on!
Mission Impossible is the most extraordinary adventure franchise you've ever seen.
You can only do it with a team like this and with an actor like Tom. We came to Rome to shoot a chase scene, something with a lot more ambition and unpredictability that we haven't had in previous chases.
We'll be screaming through the streets of Rome, motorcycles, cars.
Everything that we shot is completely practical.
We're doing it right. It all comes down to one thing. How do we involve the audience? I just want to give them that thrill.
Rome is a famously tricky city to shoot in. The cobblestone streets make all of the driving unpredictable. Every time you think you're going in one direction, the streets say, no, you're not, you're going this way. Getting street closures is very, very difficult. As soon as I saw how challenging it was to shoot in, I knew this was the place to do it. The first part of the sequence, you'd see Tom chasing Haley.
He's riding with no helmet. One headshot that's going to change your life.
I've walked the whole area, getting to know every little bump and curve.
You hold your breath every time you see Tom about to make a turn.
One of the biggest challenges is always finding out how to shoot it. We ended up finding this camera system called the Z-Cam, which allowed us to navigate through very narrow streets and do a lot of high speed and heavy maneuvering.
Pull over, listen, I'm trying to help you. Grace! Give me your hand. Slow, slow, slow.
Andiamo.
Hunt, it's over. Let the girl go, put the bracelets on.
No, no, everybody down, down, get down!
We decided to make this next chase a little more complicated by having Tom handcuffed to Haley. It added a certain unpredictability to the sequence.
Tell me when.
3, 2, 1, action!
Tom is driving and drifting one-handed through the streets of Rome.
You okay?
I will be when this is over.
He's handcuffed in the sequence.
It's extremely dangerous and involves a lot of skill on Tom's part.
Right?
Scooters?
Damn it!
He's drifting around corners at speed. At the same time, Tom is in character.
It's good.
Tom and Haley ditch the car in one of their IMF vehicles.
Suddenly, this tiny little Fiat 500 comes out of nowhere.
We built this Fiat 500 so that it would be faster.
You could barely control the car. It was treacherous.
The Fiat, that was wild.
Some would even say the car is possessed. The car became a character in and of itself. It seems to have a bit of a mind of its own.
This isn't on a green screen.
We're getting real action, real cars on real streets.
We'll be hitting things and breaking things.
Who talks like that?
This is an adventure.
I don't think we could have made a sequence that was more difficult to shoot if I had gone out of my way to do it. It has really amazing results. It would be impossible without this crew and an actor like Tom.
Looks like we lost them.
We had been exploring for this next installment of Mission. We wanted to make a bigger film, a more global film. Etihad and Abu Dhabi Airport provided us with this airport. It gave us the opportunity to shoot a sequence in the way one had never been done. and was an extraordinary, beautiful location.
And the airport was amazing because it was a fully realized supersonic international airport.
There's this oasis of technology.
Just vast. It was awesome.
They were allowing us to shoot front of house, back of house, on the roof. And we had to fill the entire airport with people. It really was the biggest set that we'd ever worked on.
That's the first time we're all in the scene together.
Tell me where he is!
Snapshot, Overwatch, I have him.
It looks like these giant steel sand dunes, and we thought, what better environment for Tom to be running across? It's epic in scale. We also had the cooperation of the U.S. military and their B-22 Ospreys. It's truly extraordinary aircraft. Thank you. Very, very much appreciated. Once we decided that we were going to shoot the airport sequence in Abu Dhabi, we decided to shoot a desert sequence as well. The desert sequence is something Tom and I have always dreamed about. The location just told us what to do. It creates a really spectacular venture.
We're in an area they call the empty quarter. It's pretty stunning. You get most amazing dunes and a big salt flat that we can charge around on with horses.
Zeus is Tom's horse in the film. He was a really wonderful animal. These things that we're doing, while they seem to flow rather effortlessly, are actually very complicated and involve a lot of skill on Tom's part.
We built a deserted town in the desert that's basically been consumed by the sand. There was a very scorched look to it. We literally built that whole town in 5 weeks. We then shut down during the pandemic. In a way, it did me a favor with the winds blowing all the sand in and aging the buildings beautifully in the sun. Over months, it only made the set look better.
One thing led to another, and a sandstorm became an element of it.
You mentioned the dust storm in Abu Dhabi. First thing that sprung to mind was that I had this jet engine in the back of my workshop.
3, 2, 1, action!
It's an extremely, extremely challenging sequence. Really what motivates us more than the action is the beauty of the locations. Pleasure to be here. And the people that we're celebrating when we go there. Tom and I have been talking about shooting in Venice for 14 years now. One of the reasons I'm drawn to it is it hadn't been shot in quite the way I imagined shooting it. It's a very difficult location to shoot. There are no vehicles allowed in this city. Everything has to be brought in by boat, then carried to set by hand.
It's my first time in Venice.
It's mine too. We wanted Venice to have a completely different feel from the rest of the movie. And then we made that more challenging by deciding to shoot a sequence entirely at night. There was no better place than to shoot a sequence at the Doge's Palace. We decided to make it about light and color. We brought in digital projectors that actually made the Doge's Palace something of a character. We wanted the building to feel alive.
We lit the roof from the tower in St. Mark's Square. We had lanterns on all the gondolas.
There's got to be 4,000 or 5,000 candles. That's a lot.
It's been a long time, friend.
Our chase scene is a signature of every Mission Impossible. We wanted to do something different this time. Venice is this eerie and spooky world with its narrow alleys and corridors. If you're a stranger here, it's very easy to get lost. This becomes very much a labyrinth in which the team is lured. All the threads of the story converge in a most unexpected way. There's two fights happening simultaneously. What I love most is that every single actor have a chance to showcase their extraordinary talent.
But the process of getting actors mission ready doesn't happen overnight. It is something that we do way early on in prep. Tom always makes sure that when casting missions, he casts actors that are willing to do the physical stunts themselves.
It's about being able to have the strength to do what you need to do. Repetition, it's muscle memory. It's being able to go again and again and again.
I gotta tell you, shooting those scenes took a lot.
The bridge fight would not have been possible without Tom's preparation.
We do the very best to show up with the same level of commitment and dedication that we know Tom has.
Each one of the actors is trained in a different fighting style. Those fighting styles are designed to express elements of character and personality. There is the action and there's the emotion that makes that action worth doing. We didn't want to do the usual sequences that you see here. We wanted to really make this a love letter to Venice and to do it in a way that it really had never been done before. To shoot these stunts for Mission Impossible. With Tom, there are no limits, so we become a little bit more adventurous every time.
Tom's doing a sport very few people on this planet do. It's called speed flying.
It's a very beautiful and delicate sport.
But it also is one of the most dangerous sports in the world. While it may look similar, speed flying is not skydiving. Skydiving is fairly predictable. Speed flying is incredibly unpredictable.
It's a very small canopy racing down a mountain just feet off the ground.
Any sort of crosswind could have put Tom in peril.
We're gonna do spirals. And we're landing in at incredibly high speed, over 80 kilometers an hour.
Not something I would recommend for the faint of heart.
Through couloirs, off cliff edges, through trees, at speeds of 50, 60, 70 miles an hour.
Speed flying is one of the most dangerous sports in the world. Even the slightest breeze, the slightest downdraft can push you down into the rocks.
You don't have a reserve, you have one canopy above you. If we have a collapse, it could be fatal.
Tom will be putting his all into it.
What we're doing now is I'm basically training on various parts of the mountain. Just constantly trying to increase my skills.
Go, go, go.
Working on different techniques for wing control. It's a very challenging sport.
The speed flying sequence can really be broken up into 4 different elements.
We've got the dramatic takeoff, the big spiral, proximity flying very close to the rocks, and a fast speed landing.
Tom trained over 3 years in order to be as precise as humanly possible.
Everything I do, I train.
learning different terrains, learning different techniques, developing that muscle memory, developing that sense of the wind and the atmosphere around you. Coming up with the stunt is only one of the technical challenges. The other is putting a camera in a place that you can see where Tom is operating the speedway.
You can't get close to this with a helicopter or a drone.
So we had to develop a gimbal system flying along with Tom. You had cameras hanging off of both sides being operated in a helicopter.
What's going to work is here's you, here's me. This is what we need. That's one of the things of doing practical action. We are at the mercy of the weather, and it's too dangerous.
The wind's dropping now and it's only going to get better.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm ready.
Confirming you have picture now.
Picture's good. 3, 2, 1, action.
Tom is airborne, Tom is airborne.
Flying very close to rocks, it looks quite beautiful. Behind the scenes, we were all in absolute terror. Landing, Tom had to be flying towards the camera vehicle. That meant that Tom had to hit the exact mark, or it can end in disaster. It is truly a one-of-a-kind adventure.